What an absolute result that was. That's a stunning fish, look at that. The closer it's getting, the bigger it's feeling.
Oh, well, I've just heard the shout from Shaun.
She's in. Oh, number 3. Get in. Right then, we're back on the bank. We were back up in Oxford after some Oxfordshire chunks. We're on the Syndicate, Phil's Lake, and hopefully we're going to have a good session, mate.
Yeah, definitely. The weather feels pretty good for it. So, yeah, seen a couple of fish in your swim, haven't we? So
we have.
Letting Shaun have the flyer, but
who knows?
Yeah. Do you want to tell him where you are?
Yeah, I'm in the Carp swim then, and nice and convenient. Hugh's going to go next door in the boat swim, so hopefully between us we'll have a chance of having 1 or 2 and put some fish in the video.
Absolutely, right. Better get out your worst.
Go and get the rods out, mate.
Come on then.
And I'll crack on.
Right then, well here we are in my swim, called the boat. It's just the one next door to Shaun, only a little way down the track. Lovely little bit of open water. I think Shaun's going to fish towards the edge of the island, so that's out of play for me. But yeah, got a nice slab of water out in front of me. Try and find some features. Right then, well I don't know if any of you watching have got any sort of habits that you always have to do first when you get to your swim. For me, I've always got to set up my landing net first. Nothing to do with thinking I'm going to get an early bite, to be honest. It's just something I've always done. That way I know I've always got a landing net set up once I get carried away with the rods. The landing net always gets set up first. The next thing that always has to come off second, which can be a bit of a pain because it can be a bit buried, is the pod. And I always like to have that up, sort of set up second. Strange, I know. There's the lucky lion. Probably ought to think about getting Shaun another mascot with his blanking streak, but yeah, lucky lion's going to get us a fish this session. I just can feel it in my bones. Well then, well, whenever you're spodding, or as I am now, markering up, fishing with braid, always well worth using a finger stool, and also make sure you really wet your braid. So I just underarm flick it out, and then I just dunk the reel under the water, make sure I get all the ringlets nice and wet as well. A bit of water on the old glove as well can always help loosen it up, and then we're good to go. See what we can find out of there. Check what's behind you. Don't want to stick it straight in the bush behind you. Half a rod length drop. Happy days. So if it's stuck in some weed, just like to try and give it a little bit of flick up, a few turns of the spool, still in some weed, do the same again, tighten down to it, give it a flick up, a few turns of the spool, and there we go, into a bit of a clear area. Yeah, so that's a very small area. Explore it a bit more, try and find if it's, you know, it might open up a little bit more to the left or right. Yeah, make a few more casts.
Right then, first things first, we need to find a few spots to get on. Now the fish have been cruising around in this sort of bay to my right. The wind's now started coming in there. It looks really nice for it. It's actually really warm at the moment, and to be fair, I'm actually a bit too warm in my hoodie. So weather-wise, it's looking good, nice and overcast, nice and warm. Feels a little bit muggy actually, so it does feel quite nice for a bite. Seen a couple of fish show out by this overhanging tree on the left-hand side of the island, so I'm going to have a little lead around out there, see if I can find a spot, and I'm going to maybe look at finding another area out towards my right. Ideally, I want to try and find a couple of spots. I've been doing a lot of sort of free rods on the spot. It's not happened lately. I want to try and cover some different areas, cover more water, and give myself hopefully the more chance of getting a bite. So I'm going to have a little lead around, see what I can find, and yeah, fingers crossed we can find a few nice spots. So let's get the lead and rod out and see what we can find. Right, I've got 2 rods out just on singles at the moment. So one out on the right hand side of the island, nice silty spot, and I've got one out towards the left side on a nice clear gravel area. Happy with both of those. Just got them on singles at the moment because I've seen a couple of fish show, so I'm just going to see if I potentially get a quick bite before any bait goes out. And I'm going to have a lead around down to my right, just in this corner, just to see if I can find anything in this corner, which potentially I might be able to put a rod to. Right, the right hand rod then, going down the margin, I found a lovely spot, really nice smooth area, nice and clear, and this is what's going on it. So what I've done is I've put a little mesh bag of the DNA Maxi Cray Mix, and then that's actually one of the candy sticks but in the crayfish flavour, so it basically matches what's in the bag, and I put it on lengthways, or widthways sorry, so that when a fish comes over the top of it, it should look more like a pellet on the bottom, and hopefully not give them any sort of reason to be cautious, and hopefully just hoover the lot up. So it's a little bit different, but it turns out a lot of pellet, when they used to feed the fish, got put down this end when they do sort of feed the fish each year and put pellet in different areas in the warmer weather, and they used to put quite a bit of bait in this margin, and the fish used to really get on it. So I've decided to fish one down the edge on a spot I found and try and imitate the pellet that goes in, and hopefully it will sort of have less, it'll be sort of less obvious and be a little bit more sort of unsuspecting to them. So that's the plan. The rods are all out then. I've been fishing singles for a few hours, but I've actually put a bit of bait in and committed some food to the swim now. The singles didn't produce anything, so hopefully the bait will. I'm fishing 3 totally different spots, as I've probably mentioned, but it's just somewhat different. I've obviously not caught anything out of here for a while, and I thought I need to try something different, so it gives me 3 different options, 3 different areas to potentially get a bite from. The right hand rod is down the margin, lovely little silk spot, put about 5 spods of bait over the top of it, nice and simple. Middle rod is out towards the island, lovely silty area again, very very smooth. It's a little bit deeper out there as well, so I've actually put a bit more bait on that. It's not right up against the island, it's actually a bit more into open water, so I've actually put about 10 or 15 spods out there, so there's a good bit of bait out there for them to have a little grub about. And then the left rod is out towards the left side of the island, where I've actually seen a few fish showing. It's a very rock hard gravel spot. I think it's the bottom of the shelf where it meets the weed. I've basically cast out, pulled the lead into the back of the weed, taken a couple of foot off, so I know the rig's going to be dropping just behind it, and I'm getting an absolute crack of a donk out there. And on that one I've put about 5 spods as well, so I've got 2 kind of lightly baited, one baited a little bit heavier, and we'll see what produces the goods. Personally, I think the left hand rod's going to do a bite, if any. There's just been fish showing out in that direction. It looks really nice out there. The wind's coming in the back of the island, and the sun's been out as well, and I can see those fish coming around the back of that weed on that clear spot looking for a bit of food. So that's what I've been doing. Hopefully it pays off, but we'll pop round and see Hugh in a bit, send you round to his swim, and see what he's been getting up to.
Right then, so the first rod is going out. Let's see if we can do it first cast. Looking good. Oh yes, lovely drop. Wind's just starting to pick up, so I think we're doing this just in the nick of time before we have a bit of a crosswind to contend with. Always like to have both rods set up, or 3 rods if they're all going out in the same spot, which they're not in this case. So all the rods are ready basically, so I know exactly where that rig's gone. I can get this one straight out as well, and then I know if they're crossed, especially if you've got a sort of wind which can sort of play tricks on your eyes with the lines. So let's see if we can get this one out as well. Gosh. Perfect. Well, that doesn't happen often. 2 first casts. In fact, if I'm honest, I can't remember the last time that did happen. But I'm not going to moan. Ooh, 2 rods fishing. Happy days. Right then, well, I'm finally about to get the 3rd rod out. Might not look on the screen, but we are slowly starting to lose the light. It's taken a little while, but I found a lovely little spot, much closer in. And I think most people like casting out towards the middle on here at least, so I'm going to try and do something a little bit different. Yeah, that's not on it. Bang on the money. Right then, well, I've finally come over. I've walked over twice. Shaun's been doing updates, so I've kept turning around and I've timed it perfectly. We were just saying, oh mate, couple of bleeps, we were like, oh, could see the line picking up, and he is in.
Oh, it's a nice scaly fish. No, Ray. Oh, yeah. Oh, mate, I'm absolutely buzzed. Literally, my hairs will stand on end then. No. That has been. I know. I know. Oh, mate.
Days, mate. It's in the net. What a great start to the session.
There we go then, happy days. First fish at the Syndicate for a while. I've been on a bit of a blanking spree, as I'm sure if you've been following the channel you will know that. So this one's definitely perked me up and made me a lot happier. So happy days. But to everyone that was wishing me good luck in catching one on the channel lately, then thanks very much. It looks to have done the job. So for everyone that's been subscribing, we do appreciate it. And hopefully this is reward for watching our videos. So what a lovely fish, £19 on the nose or thereabouts, covered in leeches, but a lovely fish. Let's get her home.
Well done, mate. What, you're going to get all emotional then?
She goes. Not that way. I'll have a little feed down here. What did Orchard said down there, mate?
Right then, well, I've just come back from Shaun's swim and what an absolute result. I must admit, I am absolutely chuffed to bits with him after a bad season last year up here. It's really nice that on his, I think, 2nd session up here, he's managed to put one on the mat. So, happy days, and we've got a fish in the blog, so hopefully you're chuffed as well. But a little bit about what I've done so far. So I've got 2 different spots that I'm fishing, so obviously 2 rods are out on one, and then I found one area that's much closer in. Nice small clear area. I'm hoping to do something a little bit different. You know, I expect most people sort of cast out towards the middle, and so I've just tried to find something a little bit different. Like I say, nice little silty area, and I've obviously got 1 rod on that as well. So obviously if that rod goes, potentially I might be able to slot a second one in there. It might be a little bit small, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, really nice for Shaun to have a fish so early on in the session. And yeah, we're going into the first and only evening pretty confident. So yeah, I think he's got a real good chance of having another one. Definitely the fish we've seen have been in that area and where that left-hand rod has been. So yeah, happy days, good angling on his part, and I'm actually going to ping you straight back to him now, because I imagine he's finally come off cloud 9, getting the rod back out, and I would imagine a little bit more bait.
What an absolute result that was. I'm absolutely chuffed. It's taken me a long time to get a bite out of here. I've had a couple of really good seasons. Last year was terrible, and finally I'm off the mark and I've had one. I'm so chuffed. Second session on here, I believe it is, and yeah, we finally had a bite, so happy days. But it was on the left rod as predicted. I really thought that was going to do a bite. There were fish out there, it looked good for it, and it's off it's gone. So yeah, I'm absolutely chuffed. Lovely fish as well, not a big one, but lovely condition, lovely scale pattern. It had a cool little tail on it as well, so yeah, absolutely buzzing with that. So anyway, I need to get the rod back out, because I've not even done that yet. I've kind of been sort of on cloud 9 a little bit, if I'm honest, so I need to get that back out there. So let's get the rod out, get a bit more bait on there, and you never know, we might be able to have another one. So it's been dark for a couple of hours, and we've just been sat sort of having a beer, had a bit of food as you do, and yeah, to be fair, while I've been sat here, for quite a few fish showing, so it does seem like there's a few sort of out in front of me, so hopefully there's another bite on the cards. But it's all been kicking off in Hugh swim.
Yeah, absolutely kicking off. Yeah, I haven't seen very much in front of me, probably since we got here, to be fair. So yeah, they are stacked up in front of Shaun. If he doesn't have a dozen by morning, I'd be disappointed. But yeah, I've been nagging him for some time now, and I'm interested in your thoughts. So I love it when it sort of fades to black as a cinematic sort of feature, moving from night into day. And so we'll comment down below, do you think that is a nice feature to have in the video? Hopefully Shaun's going to do it. He's promised me he'll do it in this one. So I'm going to head off to bed, mate, and you're going to probably end up pottering around and doing stuff till the wee hours of the morning. Yeah. But yeah, right, mate, on that note,
see you in the morning. Oh, maybe not, maybe I'll see you before then.
Well,
with a big fish.
Yeah, hopefully a really big fish coming out of my swim. Anyway, good night, mate. Oh, we're good to go. Laters.
See you later.
Right then, well, good morning. Unfortunately, nothing to report from me and Shaun. Yeah, very quiet night, other than a bit of drifting weed waking me up and getting me very excited at about 2 AM. I have just heard from another member, though, that there's a chap in the point, which is on the back of the wind. He's had a 35 pounder this morning, so well done to him, and what an absolute mega result that is. It was really, really chilly this morning, so I'm not sure if the fish are going to still be on this wind like they were yesterday afternoon, but as you can probably tell from the sort of glare on my face, the sun is just starting to break through, typically in time for the update. But yeah, it is just starting to poke through, so, you know, fingers crossed if there is any. I think Shaun's got another good chance around that shallower spots around the island. So I'm going to have a little bit of grub. I've already nailed one, I won't lie, but yeah, some lovely bacon and egg rolls. And then I'm going to put out a couple of spots just on my short range spot, just some boilie and some sweet corn. Because of this side wind, I think any crumbs just going to get drifted off the spot. But I have seen one, well, I think it was one. I didn't see any birds come up, so I think it was a carp. Yeah, sort of closer in than the spot, so hopefully I can just sort of induce a bite by putting a little bit of fresh scent into the water column. So first a bit of grub for me, and then a bit of grub for the carp. Wow. Oh yeah, life is good. It'd be slightly better if I'd remembered to put ketchup in it, but life is still good. I'm not going to grumble. Right then, well that's the spodding done. 4 more spods just to top up that close in range spot. What I have realised is, a bit of a schoolboy error, forgot to bring any spare gas, and cooking that bacon and egg sandwiches has killed it. So I've got an empty mug, going to go and see a mug, and fingers crossed he's got some spare gas, or at least will make me a brew. Oi oi!
Right, mate?
How you doing, alright?
Oh. Yeah, not too bad.
Any joy?
No, not since that first one.
Okay.
So I thought it was going to happen, but it dropped really cold, didn't it? So I think they must have just drifted out of this corner.
Yeah, it definitely got pretty fresh. I don't know if you've heard that the bloke on the point had one. But
Oh, really?
yeah, one this morning, nice 35, so fair play to him. But
Oh, right, he has a 35, I have a 19.
yeah,
Sounds about right.
no, you can't grumble at having a fight. You can't grumble at having a fight.
No, no.
I've had a little schoolboy error and run out of gas. You got any spare, or do you fancy making me a brew? Options are yours.
I haven't got any spare, I can make you a brew.
Oh, go on then. I'll have a cup of tea, please. Alright, well, I've just heard the shout from Shaun. Guess what? It's the left-hander again.
Left-hander?
So last time when I walked in just swim it went off. This time I've walked out and it's gone off.
That sun's come out a bit, and I think those fish have drifted back into that margin on the island.
Oh, definitely, mate. That is a spot and a half, that. Happy days. He says it's got a bit of weight to it this time, so fingers crossed it's one of the better ones. It's got to give it a bit of less strain because it's trying to get in and around the other rods. But that sun's just sort of come out the last couple of hours. Definitely going to be warming up that margin spot off the island. And it's done him well again. One of the bailiffs just come around and said that this swim's been produced a couple of fish on the weekend. So it's obviously a bit of a good area to be in at the moment, so he's done well to get on it. Fingers crossed, we're going to have another one in the net shortly. There it is, a couple of gulps of air.
Oh, the wind.
Yeah, boy!
Oh, I can't believe the lid ain't come on.
Yeah.
I reckon that's why it felt heavier, it's that lidding.
Yeah, quite possibly. And maybe the wind on the line.
Yeah. Oh,
Boom!
There we go then, fish number 2 on the same rod out to the left of the island. Another one on the bug, matched a hatch, little pop up over the top of that little bit of bait. I topped it up a bit after that first fish, only about 5 spods, and it's gone rattling off again. This morning, happy days, 23 pound plus, lovely scaly fish, nice little scrap, and I am well happy with that. Oh, this is a great release. Oh my God, there we go. What a release.
Right then, well, it's about lunchtime now, and as you can probably tell, that's the end of the session for me. I've got to get home and get off to parents' evening. So yeah, one of them life chores you got to do. But it's quite nice to see the man behind the camera catch a couple of fish at least. And yeah, thankfully there's a couple of fish in the blog for once. So I'm going to get all this in a van and obviously shoot off home, leave you in Shaun's capable hands. He's going to talk you through a bit about the bait he's been using, and hopefully he has a couple more before he's got to be off. So until next time, get out on the bank and be lucky from me. And I'm off. Laters. Oosh.
Well, Hugh's been gone a few hours and nothing's happened since then, unfortunately, but I have seen a couple of fish show. One of them was just beyond my middle rod, maybe about 20 yards past it, and I've seen one just past the left rod, maybe just a bit more on the other side of the island, but it's definitely been a few fish showing down here, so it looks like we could still be good for a bite. I am feeling confident. In talking of bites, I thought I should probably talk you through what I've been using to obviously create these bites and get the fish feeding. So I'm going to go behind the trees where it's a little bit more sheltered and have a little chat to you about the bait I've been using, and I've actually mixed it up and I've decided to try something a little bit different. So let's go and have a little look at that, and hopefully that will help you in your fishing. Right, so we've obviously had those couple of fish and I wanted to just talk to you about the bait. So Hugh was actually using a very similar bait, although I'm actually doing something a little bit different today, and something different to what we would normally do, and that is I'm using some freezer bait. So I've obviously got these from DNA, and I've split the 5 kilo bags and put them into separate 1 kilo bags, so I can just take out, you know, a couple of kilo at a time, depending on how long the session is, and I'm not going to be using up too much bait and sort of defrosting bait and refreezing it again. Basically, once I get out freezer bait, I like to just put it in the lake, give the fish a free offering. If I don't take it home with me, you know, I don't really want to. I want to just sort of give it to the fish. It's always best when it's taken straight out of the freezer on a session. If you take it home, refreeze it too many times, it loses its quality and loses its edge. So yeah, I like to just stick it in at the end of a session. So I bought about 3 kilo with me. I've probably got through a couple of kilo. There's probably about 1 kilo left, and that's all going to be going in at the end of the session, just to give the fish a free meal basically. To that I've added some of the maxi and the mini cray mix, just sort of 50-50, and that's gone in as well. I've kind of used about half and half of boilie and pellet, and into those I've added some of the Calanus hydro liquid. That's nice and heavy and helps draw that bait down to the bottom. It also sticks to the bait and sort of holds more on the bottom around this baited spot to obviously help bring in those fish. I've then also put some of the hot hemp oil. This is obviously a much thinner and lighter liquid. It tends to sort of rise up off the bottom, creates a bit of slick on the surface. It just helps sort of spread that food signal throughout the area and throughout the layers to obviously hope to draw the fish onto that spot. And then I've also got some of the liquid food. This is the bug liquid food, which complements the obviously the bug boilies really well. And this is a little bit in between. It's not really heavy, but it's not too thick, and it almost soaks into the baits really, really well. That's kind of what it's designed for, is sort of soaking your boilies, giving them a bit of extra attraction. And I just stuck it all into a bucket as and when I need it, leave it for a bit just to soak in, and we've got a lovely little simple mix there, which is absolutely perfect for on this lake for getting a few bites. And to be fair, it works everywhere, to be honest. So that's what I've been doing, and it's done the job today. Is that a liner or is that a way? That's the way, isn't it? Yep. Well, the left hand rod's gone again, but this does not feel like a carp. We're in. Doesn't feel like a carp at the moment. But a bite is a bite. Although, the closer it's getting, the bigger it's feeling. Wind is hacking in here. But this is bite number 3. Absolutely chuffed. Very, very sensitive bite. Just pulled up tight, didn't take any line. I thought it might have been a bream. I'm holding the rod up instead of giving it sort of my normal side strain because it's so windy here. Holding it lower is making it quite tricky. It's a carp. It is a carp. This wind is making this pretty tricky. The net is trying to float away. Come on, come on. In you come, in you come. She's in. Oh, number 3. Get in. Oh dear, the wind. It's turning the net over. Jesus. Oh, bloody wind. Oh dear. Oh, fish number 3. Happy days. Right, I've brought in the right hand rod. Oh, I'm going to stick it out on that spot. Seeing as I've just had that fish. I've got a little bit of bait left as well, so I might try and get a bit more bait out there. But there is a chance a few fish, I mean that fish might be on his own, but there is a chance some fish have come through. Oh, fish have just launched out the back of that spot. God, there's definitely fish up there. Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing right now. It's typical, isn't it? The day you got to go, it's always the way. Well, basically, when I get a fish on here, you're not supposed to lift the fish out in the net, which is well understandable, because obviously the fish are pretty decent size in here now. So I fill up the water bottle and then get my sling or retainer. This is actually my second retainer. It's actually a cheaper version basically, but I've not used it before. It's the first time I used it, so it's done alright though. And then basically what I do is I start bringing 2 nets. The reason for that is if I break a net down and have a bite, I can quickly put a fish into this retainer and I've still got a net active. Also, if you get anything big and you end up getting a double hookup, you don't want to be trying to net big fish in one net. It's an absolute disaster. So what I do is basically open up the sling and chuck it in next to the rods. It's quite slack in this corner here. Break the net down. And then, I might be a bit better that one. And just swim the fish into the retainer. Make sure all his fins and everything are flat against his body, so that you don't go crushing anything. And then with the other rod in your other hand, just lift him up and take him over to the mat. Then I can unhook him. Oh, he's a bit bigger than I thought he was. That's a stunning fish, look at that. What a lovely fish. Right, then what I'm going to do is just transfer him to the retainer. Oh, that's a mega hook hold that was. at 24.10. Nice. Check that out then. Biggest one so far, they're getting bigger. £24.10. I didn't think it was that big. I actually thought it might have been a bream when I first lifted the rod up. It just pulled up tight, didn't even take any line, and just kited, I think, into the back of the weed, but gave her some steady pressure and in she came. So yeah, lovely scaly one, absolute stunning fish in this lake, and yeah, cracking result that is. Same spot, same rod, same hook bait, same everything. So yeah, it's doing the job. Let's spin around. What a lovely fish. I am well happy with that. Absolute result that is. But let's get her home. I've actually recast the right hand rod and put it out onto this spot because it seems to be doing the bite. So the rod is back out fishing essentially. But yeah, happy days. Let's get her home, and who knows, we might have another one. Right then, let's send her home. Here she goes. Awesome. Right, the rods are out then. Left and middle rod are out towards that spot now. I did just try to video putting the rods out, but I forgot to hit record, as you do, and the GoPro ran out of batteries. So that went well. Typical videographer forgetting to do stuff. Don't know where you can see the rods, but left and middle are going lovely out to that spot now. A little bit spread apart, just on that spot. It's quite a nice area. But if I walk out on here, you might be able to see the lines going out. There's basically two going out onto that spot. So yes, it'd be interesting to see if that pays dividends or not, or whether the two rods potentially is too many in one area. I don't know, but I do think that's going to give me more chance of getting an extra bite. So you know, there might be another bite on the cards. I've got plenty of time really to get another bite, but you never know, that might mean there's two bites on the cards. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So fingers crossed we can get another one before we have to leave. Well, I've been watching the water for a while. The wind's picked up again. It's starting to come in. I've got the hood up. It's actually starting to feel a little bit fresher again now. It's sort of getting towards the later part of the evening. The light's going to be going within the next hour or two. So another bite time is definitely coming around, I reckon. I reckon when that light starts to go, there's every chance of one of those rods going again. I really, really am confident. So let's hope it happens, and it'd be so nice to finish on a big one. It really would. It really round off a great session. I mean, I've absolutely loved it today. This session's worked out really well. 3 bites off of that spot. I've split the rods, fished 3 different areas, and if I'm honest, I actually think I would have probably ended up fishing 2 or 3 rods on the other spot, more to the right hand side of the swim, just because it felt such a nice area. But it turns out that that one out to the left is the one that's produced the bites. And it's definitely taught me something, that actually fishing 3 rods on 3 different areas and seeing if you can get a bite is probably more effective than trying to fish 3 rods on a spot. Because if that spot doesn't produce any bites, then all your eggs are in one basket and you ain't getting anything. Whereas if you're fishing 3 different areas and one of them produces bites, you can easily move another rod to that spot if you want to try and make the most of it. So definitely a bit of food for thought for me. But anyway, I need to make a bit of food, so I'm going to polish my coffee off, make a bit of food, and I'm going to pack all the kit down, get it all on the barrow so I can make a nice quick exit. I'm just going to maximise the time that I've got the rods out. Luckily I'm by the car park, so it's nice and easy to get packed down and out the gate. But I think in fishing, at the end of the day, location is key and time is another massive factor. If you've got your location right, it is just a matter of time, and the more time you've got to be able to fish, the more chance you've got of getting a bite. It's pretty simple, really. So the longer I can keep those rods out there, the more chance they've got of going off. So that's what I'm going to do, is try and maximise the time that I've got. But I have got to get off. I've got to be home because I've got the little one tomorrow, so I need to get up for him in the morning. So I don't want to get back too late, but I do want to try and make as most of the session as I can. But anyway, I'm going to polish this off, get a bit of food on, and hopefully I'll be showing you another one shortly, and we're having a nice one to finish off the session. But it's been a banging session. If I don't get another one, I'm still happy. So anyway, let's get that stove fired up, let's get some food on, and have a bit of dinner. This is dinner, Suba yakitori chicken, and I made it about half hour ago before I packed the brolly and everything down, and it's gone a bit cold because I forgot about it, but these are absolute winners. They're not the healthiest meal in the world, but they're better than pot noodle. They're really tasty, and to be fair, if you bring yourself a little bit of sort of pre-cooked meat like chicken or something and chuck it in, actually makes quite a tidy little meal, to be fair. Nice and simple, but yeah, when I'm packing down and then don't want to have all the main cook gear out and all that stuff, it's a much easier way of having a little meal before I'm getting on the road. But still got about an hour and a half, I reckon. Light's starting to go now, so any minute we should be getting a bite. Right, that is the end of the session then. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I have. It's been a mega result, 3 fish, well happy with that. Didn't get that 4th, but like I said, it's fishing, isn't it? And you can't complain at 3 fish, especially after all the blanking I've been doing. But yes, it's nice to finally put a few in the net, and I've really enjoyed it. Hopefully you've got something from the video, either you found it entertaining or you've got a few tips or something from it. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, check out all the social media and all that stuff. I've probably plugged that throughout the video, but yeah, follow us on our Instagram. We put plenty of content on there. And anyway, until next time, get on the bank and be lucky, and I will see you in the next video, I hope. But I'm off home, and I've got the rods behind me, I better not forget them.